All right, I'm Ken from the Ken Rigel Group. I've got Jonathan Popowich from Popowich and Company and Trung Bien from the Trung Bien real estate team with me today. As usual, we get together once a week and we just talk about stuff in real estate in Calgary and in Canada and even North America that's just top of mind and that's affected us this week. And so we were actually getting into a conversation before we hit record today about lead generation and lead generation sources and what's working and what doesn't work and where everybody is at. So, I just want to throw it out there to you guys. Like, what is working for you guys right now? Like, what is your strategy and your plan right now? Because there's, we just get bombarded, just absolutely bombarded with people trying to sell us stuff and programs and systems. What are you guys doing to cut that noise out, and what are you doing that works?
Yeah, what's the cliche that you hear is like, if you want to become rich, don't become a realtor, start selling to a realtor, something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
which is pretty accurate based on how often the phone rings with the new easy button in this business.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I'm pretty new to the online lead game, truthfully. Like I've only been paying for leads for maybe 18 months or so. Still just being very transparent, still trying to determine if this whole thing has any kind of an ROI that makes sense. But for us, like our business has historically been really heavy on the geo farm. So we've got a really, really strong geo farm presence, and we're old school with unaddressed ad mail with Canada Post. So those are kind of my big two lead pillars. But what happened was just coming off of the pandemic, we used to carry a much higher listing inventory as the market was a little bit slower. So we would have, anywhere between 30 and 50 listings at any given time, which was a lot of natural realtor.ca leads, which was just a fantastic lead source for the team. As things started moving, we started seeing fewer listings online, fewer realtor.ca leads. And so that created a bit of a void, a bit of a vacuum in the business that we needed to fill that with some more things to do. So hence buying some online leads. So yeah, like I said, we're pretty new to it, and I've learned a lot and still have a lot to learn. Totally different incubation period and the time to kind of work through it. And it's a lot of work. So I have huge respect for people that can do that to a really high level.
Yeah, there's lots of guys that have built their business on online leads, but there's so many different types of online leads too. Like if
Yeah.
you classify, being an influencer on social media as an online lead, or is it pay-per-click, or is it local service ads, or is it Facebook ads, or you've really worked your LinkedIn network? Like, do you guys qualify those as online leads too, or are you just talking about pay-per-click?
I don't know what I'm talking about. I think I'm talking about pay-per-click. Yeah, like
Okay,
forced registration
got it.
website kind of
Yeah,
pay-per-click
yeah,
stuff. Yeah, I haven't even dabbled at all, honestly, on the social ads. Other than like when we're marketing a property specifically, but
yeah.
yeah, that's not something that I've really have any experience with. What about you,
No.
Trong?
Well,
For
Trung's this
me,
anomaly, right? Like Trung is one of those guys that's like a magnet, and business
It's just a
just sticks to
magnet.
him. He doesn't really have to do anything, just business comes to him. He's an attractor.
Totally.
I wish. I took the Buffini course when I was just a young grasshopper of a realtor in 2015, and I think the key takeaway is I just applied it. I farmed my database, and then that was kind of like my compass in terms of where I was going to spend my money. So when I get people trying to offer me lead gen opportunities, which I dabbled in, and I didn't really give it full effort, I realized I just wanted to pivot back to focusing on farming my database and nurturing my database, keeping in touch with them, making sure I'm there. And then so then the referrals come. I don't have aspirations to grow my team that much bigger. So then I don't have stress to constantly feeding agents. And then so that just leads to better retention with the agent that I currently work with. And it leads to a way better close rate. And I think when it comes to farming your database, it's just really important to back it up with quality service. Like you can spend as much marketing dollars and keep in touch with them as much as you want, but if you're a mediocre agent with mediocre service, they're not coming back to you.
Oh yeah,
So that's where,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
100%. The best way to get a referral is doing an amazing job. Really.
yeah,
Like you
yeah.
do an
And then
amazing
just
job and then you follow up in a timely manner, and referrals are going to come. You have to go so far over and above that they can't help but talk about you. That's the best
yeah,
way to get a referral.
Guys, I don't
yeah,
know if that's entirely true, because what you can do is you can just put a little thing at the bottom of your email and says that referrals are the greatest compliment. And I
Or
think that right there might be the way that you can get a lot more referrals.
or
I've never tried
or
it, but you guys could try that.
or the
I
Buffini one,
five closed
Trung.
deals a year on that one.
The
Yeah,
Buffini, the
yeah, there you
Buffini
go.
one, Trung. What is it? I'm never too busy for any of your referrals.
I'm never too busy for your referrals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 closed
Yeah.
deals a year on that one, baby.
Yeah.
I'm kind of
Ken,
like
let's hear from you though. Like you're kind of being, and I know it's because you're mostly sort of facilitating and hosting this thing, but you truly are like the guru of everything online. So let's hear from you. Like, what are you
well,
seeing and how has it
I don't
changed?
think I wouldn't say I'm a guru. See, my problem is I get distracted and I get, I've got bright, shiny objects under where I have this problem in my brain where it's always, I've got to be better. I got to try this. I got to grow. So I'm constantly pushing. And so I will try a lot of stuff. I like Trung based my whole business on the Buffini program, and I still do it. Like that is our thing, because it's how I in my previous career, how we built out radio stations. It was database marketing. So it's still 85% of our business, but the thing I have struggled with the most with a referral based business, because it's gotten to a certain size, is the ability to leverage that, because you only have a finite amount of time during the day. And when you build a referral based business, all of a sudden you're going to get to a point where it's like, oh my God, there's just not enough hours in the day to service people anymore, because I just have too many people to service. So that to me has been the hardest thing about a referral based business. So we've done everything. We've geo-farmed, we do Google pay-per-click, we do a lot of social media. We advertise all our properties on social, and we do drive a lot of leads that way with the way that we advertise on social. And so I can get distracted by, Google search ads, let's say, or again, I've tried it all. And we're in fact going to stop paying for Google search ads now. We're going to stop it simply because number one, it's a really low conversion rate, and we didn't build our business that way. And I've got a team of 5 other realtors that I'm asking to make dial after dial after dial after dial on Google pay-per-click leads, when it's not how I built my business, because I'm old school, right? I'm older than you guys substantially, and been around for a long time. So we're gonna stop that right now, and we already have a database of 6,000 leads, 3,500 of which have never been contacted. So what I have found is, if we go back into that group of people, we don't have to buy leads, because we can see these people on our website. We can see what they're looking at. Of that 3,500 people, there's like 1,800 of them that are active on our website. Like, it does. What I've actually found is we've had way more success converting somebody that has been on our website for 2 years. We've had way more success converting them after 2 years than we do at the very beginning. I just find we just piss them off at the beginning, because we're calling them too much and we're harassing them and we're being realtors, which is so contrary to how I actually think. But I get wrapped up in what everybody tells us to do. Every trainer, every coach, everybody trying to sell us stuff. You just get so pulled into that you need to hit the reset button. So every now and again. So that's what we're doing, is just going back to the Buffini program basics. I will never ever say I'm never too busy for any of your referrals. And some of the Buffini stuff is cheesy. I'm not going to lie. Like, there's never a coaching platform that fits perfect for anybody, because we all are going to put our own spin on it. But the system itself, I find, is not probably the system itself, I find, is the one that resonates the most with me with how to apply it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And what do you do, and Trung, you as well? Like, I mean, you hear the comment or something that I'm hearing, and you hear just in the industry, is like a bad lead, right? Oh, these leads are bad, or these leads are, it wasn't a good lead. And then, other than like, if you have good contact information, like if it legitimately is contact information for a person, is there such thing as a bad lead, or is it just the way that lead is being handled? And then, so that's kind of part one of the question. But part two is like, how do you keep your agents fired up in pursuing these leads when you understand that it is such a long incubation period, and you've got all these people that you're trying to contact over the years, and it will come together. It's not going to be that very first house or that very first time that you call them if they want to go and buy a house or list their house. So what do you do to sort of keep agents motivated along the way, and what does your lead management protocol sort of look like that way?
Trung, you want this? You want me to take this?
I don't have a proper system to
Okay.
to answer that question.
So first thing is, there's no such thing as a bad lead if you have good contact information. There isn't. It's just bad follow-up. And bad follow-up can be everything from not taking the time or being on a good call cadence to contact somebody, or saying stupid stuff when you actually do contact them. Like you say the wrong thing when you get a hold of somebody for the first time and they're gone.
Yeah.
So we actually have a call cadence and a call protocol that all of our agents have to follow. We throw them in lead jail if they don't follow the call cadence. So that's something I got from John, was throwing people into lead jail. So we do that. Um, we like to be on a cadence of trying to contact somebody 3 times a day for the first 3 days, 3 times a week for the first 3 weeks, then 3 times a month after that, and then once a month till they tell us to go away. But to me, contacting now isn't just dials. To me, it's about, let's think about, I always try and approach this from, okay, it's great to make a whole bunch of phone calls, but the world has changed a lot. And I try and think like a consumer. How do I try and filter it through the end user and that consumer journey and that consumer experience first? And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, how do I like to be contacted? I'm a busy guy. I don't answer my phone. I don't, because I just don't have time. My phone rings all the time. I go through 200 emails a day. What do I answer? Well, I answer text messages. I answer messenger messages on Facebook. Like when somebody hits me and responds to me on my website, I answered that stuff. So what I've got our agents trying to do now, as far as follow-up and a follow-up cadence and protocol, is find people elsewhere. Yes, you have to still call, but you should be texting. You should be finding them on Messenger. You should be adding them to social media and commenting on their stuff. You should be looking for them on WhatsApp. You've got to find where that person wants to be communicated with. Okay, you can't pigeonhole them in the way you want to communicate with them. You got to find how they like to be communicated with. That's number one. And then the next thing is are you being a realtor or are you being a human? And
Yeah.
I really try and get our agents to not be realtors. Don't be pushy. Don't
Mhm.
ask them if they want to buy or sell a house. Just be there to help. You're basically there to say, hey, and we all have this capability. We can look on the back end of our site. We can see what houses they're looking at. We can see what web pages they've looked at. We can big brother everybody. Reach out and say, hey, I saw that you were looking at this house in this neighborhood. Are you looking for a new home there, or will any other neighborhood work for you? Right? Did you find what you were looking for? Versus, hey, are you looking to buy or sell a house? Right? Hi, I'm so and so from this real estate team. We would really like to help you very much. We can help you buy, we can help you sell. We have the greatest service ever. Who cares? Nobody cares about that.
Yeah.
People care about meeting them where they're at and helping them in that moment on what they're thinking about. And you as an agent have to think that way. You can't think like a salesperson. You got to think like a human being. And too many agents don't.
Yeah.
So that's where bad follow-up happens. Bad follow-up is not on a call cadence and saying the wrong thing when you do follow up.
Yeah. Ken, you nailed it. I was actually just having a conversation with Renee, who's a mortgage broker next door here. And this was exactly what we were talking about today, that at the end of the day, you still have to do the work.
Oh,
And the
sure.
work isn't just picking up the phone and being robotic and calling. And I mean, like, interesting. Yeah. Speaking of artificial intelligence and robot, like that's a thing, right? Is like this voice calling, that it's really just AI that's calling all 6,000 or 6,500 leads all at once, to try and set that appointment. But nothing will ever replace that sort of, like you said, customer experience or client experience and human interaction. So sending that personalized video by text, that's different. Nobody does that in our market, to say, hey,
And they
was just thinking
should.
about
It
you.
is so effective.
So
So
effective.
effective. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great actually. You know,
That's
Eh,
awesome.
I would say 5 years ago it was really creepy to get a video text, but
Yeah.
today now people are like, wow, this is so cool, because our lives are just inundated with video on social media. So we become numb to video. So
Right.
now getting a video text is like in the beginning when you got that first text message when text became a thing, or that first email when email became a thing, right? All
Yeah.
that we get desensitized to this stuff over time, but video text right now is something that really cuts through. I would
Yeah.
definitely be doing video text. But to me, you're right. Work works. Like that's the bottom line. You still got to do all the work. I'm not an influencer online, nor do I really want to be. That's just not my vibe. I do get caught up in I probably should be doing more of that. But it's not authentic. You
Yeah.
gotta figure out what's authentic to you. Um, and then just, figure out what your call cadence is going to be, and then just help people. Like, hey, I'm just here to help you. How can I help?
Totally. No, that's awesome. I think we could probably slice up a couple more of these little episodes with other best practices of things that are working. Yeah, that was good. I got some gold out of that though. Thanks, Ken.
No, awesome. I love talking about this stuff with you guys. So Trung, like a guy like you who's just you are an attractor. Like people just come to you. It blows me away the size of your business when you just attract people. You're just a good dude. So like what is that? Like what give us that secret sauce.
I follow the Buffini program. I keep in touch. I make sure they don't forget about me. It's never with a phone call, but it's just more automated with like thank you note cards, newsletters, periodic gift here and there for their possession gifts. And I'd have to say that a lot like that's important to keep in touch, but I would say it's good customer service that I can back it up and then that I genuinely care about them and they really feel it. And
And
then I also find too, like um, in terms of the follow up, there's no script. It's just being authentic and just active listening, and then just genuinely want to help them.
yeah. Do
Right.
you guys
But
do,
I don't badger. I don't really badger leads that hard at all. Like periodic follow ups, 3 maximum when I know it should be 5 or more. But I just try to keep it real with them.
well,
Right. But I follow the Buffini program, and then I just have and then the database just keeps on growing organically. Right. And then when it's going organically, I just think it just leads to better quality leads and referrals.
And I'll say this about you too, Trung. I don't think it really translates on video when we're talking about this stuff, but you're as authentic as they get, right? Like when people meet you, you're
Yeah.
as real can be. So, like, that to me is probably your secret sauce. It's just how authentic you are when you meet somebody.
I totally agree with that, Ken. You know, Trung, we've worked on a couple little things together, and the one thing that I can see as a sort of outsider looking in, and I think it's just a tendency in the industry that naturally agents always want to sort of overpromise, right? Overpromise and underdeliver. Where I think you have that totally switched. So you give like super clear and realistic expectations, and you always follow up. Like you do what you say you're going to do. And I think that goes a long ways. So I've seen it in action. One of the things I love about you is like you call me out on it when I say, oh
I
yeah,
was
I'll
thinking
send
about
that
that.
over to you, whatever it is. And then if I haven't sent it over to you, like later on that day or whatever, you're like, hey
Yeah.
man, you said that you were going to send this over to me. Please send it. And I'm
I,
like,
I, I
I
should
love
really
that.
cool down. I should cool down with that, depending on who it
No,
is.
I
No,
don't
no,
cool
dude,
down with
keep
that.
going.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got to
totally.
do that. Okay, we could go on for a long time about all this stuff. Hey, look, if you guys have any questions for us, we do this once a week. We just sit down and we just start talking about real estate. So if you've got any questions for us, you can DM us anytime, or you can just make some comments below too, and we'll answer whatever questions they are the next time we get together. We'll get together next week and do the same thing again. So for Jonathan Popowich, Trung Bien, I'm Ken Rigel. Have yourselves a fantastic day, and thanks for watching.